Thank you for your interest in WireLogic. With all the cable offerings available online, it's hard to decide which one to buy. They all look very similar, and yet the prices vary a great deal. So it's very natural to ask the question, do cables really matter? Well, we certainly think so. We've been making high-quality audio-video cables for over 32 years, and we pay attention to those tiny details that make big differences in performance. Let us tell you what we've learned about key in great cable design and manufacturing. Basically, WireLogic pays attention to the 4 essential elements of cable design. We don't use twisted strands of copper to form the conductors. We use solid conductors because solid conductors have less distortion than stranded metals. As signals primarily travel along the outside of conductors, WireLogic uses solid conductors so that the signal travels along a smooth, uninterrupted road. Insulation is important as well. We use solid high-density polyethylene dielectric. Solid high-density PE has the structure required to maintain the precise geometry required of HDMI and other high-speed digital cables. This significantly reduces distortion. We also use higher quality metals. WireLogic invests in better metals to ensure performance. We don't use copper with excessive impurities. We only use select-grade oxygen-free copper, and this provides a very smooth road for the signals to travel along. Notice the terminations of the 19 conductors in these 2 HDMI cable examples. Not everybody does this the same way. There's hand soldered on the right. That's used by many manufacturers, but we use a precision cold weld crimp or wave solder process to terminate those 19 conductors. We'll spend a little more time on the inside of the plug momentarily, but we also pay attention to the outside. With TVs getting smaller and smaller and their brackets getting thinner and thinner from the wall, a smaller plug head makes sense. It's perfect for tight spaces. Now back to the inside. Instead of a glob of silicone holding the conductors in place, we use a full metal shield, and then we protect those conductors by putting a strain or relief clamp at the base. So as if you're moving furniture around or you're moving components, you're not going to pull those conductors away from their terminations. So basically you end up with not this, but this. If you're going to be pulling your cables behind the wall so that you hide the cables, you'll want to ensure that they are CL3 or FT4 rated to meet fire safety standards. We also pay attention to optimizing audio performance. All HDMI cables will work either way, but will sound better one way versus the other. We test and then mark your cables so that you can enjoy this audio performance advantage. Finally, we back up everything that we do in post-production. We don't sample test. We test each and every cable on a bit error rate machine to make sure that the errors are greatly minimized from source to the device. For any other questions, feel free to call us toll-free. Even if it's a question about how to hook things up, we're happy to help.